Welcome back to the DreamHack $100,000 Season 1 Championship. And as you can see, it's no longer Freak and Germany here. It is now Rivington the Third and myself, Xenon.
Yeah, we have some amazing matches to come up right now. We are going to have Fnatic, MSI versus Team Pacific. Actually, just talking to Pacific a little bit, and they were letting me know they're kind of not a new team. They've been playing for quite some time, at least a year or so. But they have added 2 more players to the team within the last 5 months. So it's definitely going to be, we'll see how that chemistry works. It looks good on paper, but during play on the pitch, it's definitely going to be a different story, especially against a team like Fnatic.
Absolutely. They are still some of the unknowns here in this tournament, and many people are quick to say that they have no chance here. I would definitely not say that. I mean, first of all, we know nothing about them, and sometimes the fact that they have a completely different metagame than what we have in Europe and America can be a big advantage. I mean, our teams don't know what to expect. I hear they're even running a Pantheon. I mean, how do you deal with a Pantheon? When did you last see a Pantheon in high Elo play?
They have not. It's easy to counter. You'd think it's easy to counter, but we haven't seen how it's played in high Elo. You're going to have to see what they do and where they really choose to utilize them. We could see that Penta Baron drop.
That'd be amazing. Additionally, and I think we should just say this on stream as well, there's been a little problem with Fnatic. In that xPeke did not manage to make his connection into Sweden yesterday.
Indeed.
That's very unfortunate. Lots of flights got delayed yesterday, and he missed his connection into Gothenburg. So we are actually going to have a substitute playing for Fnatic for the group matches. Now, this is not just a random guy that they picked up here. Like, hey, you can play League of Legends. Yeah, sure, play with us. This is a guy they know. This is We Will Fail Him. And he's been sort of the 5th Beatle for them for a long time. He is not officially a member of the team, but they've been playing with him a lot, so they know him. Unfortunately, they have a team strategy that is built around that dual AP, and xPeke, obviously, one of the two very strong AP players of Fnatic. So we don't know how they're going to do without that second AP. They are definitely not going to be the ideal team right now. xPeke is going to join us at some point, either today or at the very latest tomorrow, so they'll have their main lineup for later on in the tournament. It's going to be tough for them today, but they are confident. I spoke to them earlier, and they think that they can win this.
Yeah, when I was talking to Pacific just a little bit ago, they were letting me know that they have a good amount of supports on their team. So if things get banned and they can't choose anything and they really get countered in their picks, which a lot of teams were doing, they said they actually were able to fly through their brackets in Asia. So they were able to do very well. So we're going to have to see how they pull that one out and bring that into the game with Fnatic here. We're going to see what they can do on Summoner's Rift in just a few minutes here as we talk about the teams. Pacific, like I said, they have the supports. They have the few AD carries. So if those AD carries really get taken out, it's going to be difficult for them to be able to come back.
It is hard, though, to outpick Fnatic. You cannot outpick the AP. It's impossible. I mean, it would normally be. Actually, it's an interesting question. I don't know how much homework Pacific did, but without xPeke there, it could be that the selection of APs is a little bit more limited in that I'm not sure if Shushei can play every AP in the game as well as xPeke could, but normally you cannot outpick AP against Fnatic. You cannot outpick AD against them either. Lamia plays all ADs. He has no problem. He's not in AAA. You can ban Corki against Yellowstar, and that means they're not going to have their A game in the AD carry. You can't do that against Fnatic really, and so yeah, the only thing you can do really is outban the jungle. We'll have to see how the picks and bans go. However, right now we have an interview ready for us, and we're going to give over to that right now.
Hey guys, Traveler here, and I am here with representative from Team Fnatic, xPeke. No,
I'm Lamia.
Lamian, I'm sorry. And we're missing xPeke.
Yeah, xPeke, it's a sad story. Yesterday he was going to arrive by plane. He had 3 flights to catch, and his second flight was delayed, so he couldn't catch the other one. And he basically spent the night at the terminal, and he can't come here today. He's gonna only arrive in the afternoon when the group stage matches are gonna be over, so we kind of lack our star Spanish player.
So they're missing their star player. He's jet lagged. Is that going to affect your game at all?
Yeah, we basically fixed something. We picked a guy off the streets. We said yeah, hey, you want a beer? You can play for us. Sure, I don't know what LoL is, but I'm gonna play for you. But we actually know our other guy we picked up. So we kind of discussed all night about strategies and what we can do. So we should be fine. We should be able to give you a good show. So we're pretty excited.
All right, well, I hope this random dude helps your team out.
What?
I said I hope this random dude helps your team play.
Yeah, I hope so too. I really don't know him.
All right, back to you.
Some great stuff going on here. There's still camaraderie. Obviously not a random dude. Like we said, a very good friend of the team, and they're gonna do that. And maybe even with the beer. We'll have to see how they utilize that.
Yeah, well, WeWillFailure is, unfortunately, he's a support player, so he mains support, and they brought Mellisan, who is their star support player. I don't expect them to take Mellisan off support. So what WeWillFailure is probably going to do is he's just going to fill xPeke's AP role. Now, he's not just a support player, he's also a very, very strong AP player. Not on the level of xPeke, but they should be good, and I expect them to run WeWillFailure on AP. We'll see, obviously.
Indeed. We'll have to see if they got the game up here, see if we can get into that one. They do have some people joining up. We have the Jönköping, Sweden is where we are right now, the Elmia Convention Center for DreamHack Summer 2011. Gorgeous Sweden right now, and everybody's so happy to be here, just playing their hearts out. $100,000, and we're going to have to see what they can do.
Okay, so if you are actually watching the stream here at DreamHack, and I know a lot of you will be doing that because I was here last year and I was just sitting in my PC watching the streams rather than getting up and walking over to where the games are played, do consider stopping by here. We do have a very nice spin-to-win wheel where you can win a couple of nice things, including a skin you may have heard of, a Viking Tryndamere skin, which we are keeping exclusive at the moment, so you can only win it through the cards that we give out here. And additionally, we have a free-to-play area over there with lots of very nice laptops.
Say free?
Free.
It's free.
Okay. It's also a free play area. That's the word I was looking for. But yes, the game is completely free. That's pretty amazing. Yes, well, you can just sit down and play a game of League of Legends. You can, of course, play it on your PC as well. I hear one or two people may have brought their PC to this event. I hear that's how it works.
I don't know, maybe like 10,000. I'm not sure.
Yeah, something like that. But if you come and play here on our laptops, you can also win something. And you can meet the very, very handsome writers and the two of us as well.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely going to be awesome. So make sure you guys check that out. The free-to-play area is over on the right side. If you're watching the stage right now, it is on your left-hand side, right behind the spin-to-win booth. We got these teams setting up, and we'll see what we have to do. Fnatic, you know, a very good team, definitely one to watch for. People seeing that Pacific may be the underdog in this matchup, and you know, that's usually the person I root for. So I really want to see what they can do, as well as, you know, having this solid team against Fnatic, who actually had to sub out a player.
Right. So, I obviously watched the last game with great interest because I wanted to see how the first America versus Europe game turns out, and I must say I'm very, very, I wouldn't say disappointed, I'm surprised with the performance of AAA, especially because Epic left their A-team open to them. They left Amumu open for Linux, who is usually amazing.
Yeah, first pick.
Yeah, absolutely. Many of these European teams you will see, you cannot outpick their AP, you cannot outpick their AD, and you can only outpick support on one of the teams. Against game, you can kind of outpick support, but you can outpick jungler because the junglers tend to be very, very narrow. There tends to be only one or two champions that they can jungle really well, and if you outpick those, you can really, really mess with the team. So I was surprised that they just left Amumu open, and he did really well with it in the beginning of the game, but he got very, very greedy there, and yeah, generally greed is good, but if you want to win games, greed isn't so good. Greed is good for us, so do be greedy sometimes, players, because it makes for amazing watching, tower dives and close gangs. But if you want to win games, consider not being as greedy.
Definitely have to play that mentality game. And, you know, like Dan did said, his team really started to come out with ward control early in the game. They got that oracles really early, and they were able to come out very strong, as he said in his interview. And that's really one of the things that, you know, we saw Solo Mid do in the US regionals, is just ward control. They're able to keep a lot of turrets throughout the entire game, stopping that global gold from being, you know, advantageous to the other team. And it's just a very good mentality to play on the other team. You're able to jungle invade after that situation, and that plays a huge role on the mentality of the team you're playing against. You know, if you can't get your own buffs, you can't come out of your own base, and you can't farm, it's really just a downer, and you got to try to build up from that. And it's in team fights where you do that, so it has to become more concise, and you have to be more focused on where your damage is going, and really nothing can go wrong. It makes it that much harder.
That's actually a very interesting thing for people who are stuck in the around the 1300, 1400 elo range. One of the best things you can do in the shop, when you have 300 gold left over after you bought whatever item you wanted to buy wards. Just consider wards as a gold per 10 item as well, because that's what they basically are. You put them down, you are safer to to farm, you cannot be ganked. Obviously, when you're dead, you don't earn as much gold because you can't last hit when you're dead. So yeah, wards are an investment that pay off over time. And I just spoke to Shushei a moment ago, and he said, if I go home and I buy whatever item I wanted to buy and I have 300 gold left over, I don't save that gold. I spend the 300 gold on wards. It doesn't just mean that that character himself has more ward control. It also means that the support doesn't need to buy as many wards, and that means the support can buy in earlier oracles. And we just saw how powerful an early oracles is.
Right.
And I think Rivington, you should also join the game.
Indeed.
Just in case. So if you find it, there should just be one game open on the tournament realm. If there are more than one game open, then we have a problem. Very good. There you go. We're in the game.
It's a very good point. It's almost like an investment when you go back. You know, you have something like you said, 300 some gold. You're going to grab a few wards. Maybe if it's not too late in the game for a health pot to take effect, you know, 200 health at high level at 18 or so is really not going to bring back too much HP. So you can just get another ward, maybe even a vision ward instead of just a regular ward, and you know, start to clear out that way. But late in the game, at that point, you're really just going to get the Oracle's Elixir and you know continue. There, as you see, Team Pacific getting ready to start it off. We saw Fnatic a little bit earlier talking to AAA and one of their players.
Are those flying sharks on their uniforms?
Yes, it's the center that they play for, the Pacific. And that is their support there. I believe this is their AD carry. We're going to see how they just go down the line here, these guys. I just got able to chat with them. Like I said, 3 other players were, you know, together for about a year. They played on the NA servers, and when the servers switched over to Asia, they were able to get on. They found some people that they were playing with, you know, that became their friends in these past 5 months. And they've really been able to put together a solid team, like I said, obviously running right through their brackets in their regionals. So we're going to have to see how they, you know, bring that over here. I asked them, how was the flight? And they just said long, really, really long. And, you know, that also, if they didn't get a good night's rest, hopefully they can be on the top of their game, and they did get that rest that they so much needed. Waiting on one more player from Fnatic at this point in time. We can see Pacific has their entire team in the game, ready and raring to go. So we're going to have to wait for that to get in there, and we'll get your picks and bans going on. Yeah,
we're waiting for We Will Fail, the substitute, and probably we'll need to set him up with an account, or we need to let him play on somebody else's account, because obviously we did not plan for this. Yeah, I am excited about this match. The Flying Sharks, like you said, went through their brackets. They didn't have any problems in the qualifiers, so we're definitely seeing one of the best teams from that region there right now. And Fnatic not with their A lineup, not with the team that they would want to play with. We'll have to see how it goes. It's going to be an interesting game for sure. Fnatic are known for a couple of things, and I just have to bring this up at some point. They are known for the creative play of Shushei. So Shushei is definitely going to be one to watch. He does strange things. He made AP Alistair happen in Europe. He was one of the first to do it in, maybe not one of the first to play it in ranked, but he was the first who did it in a really big tournament last year at EMS with Team Birth, as they were known still then. They went on to become My Revenge and are now Fnatic. It's still pretty much the same team. He played in AP Alistair, and people were like, what is this? What is he doing? Why is he doing AP Alistair? And yeah, he wrecked with the AP Alistair. And these days, it's a standard build, you know? That's how it goes.
That's a champion we're definitely going to see a lot in this one. We're not going to see Orianna, however. She is not in this build, and we're going to see what happens, you know, if anybody was going to play her. Obviously, not too much. She hasn't been utilized. It's really a team composition build if you're going to use her, but we're not even going to worry about it in this one. And, you know, it's scary for Fnatic at this point in time because 2 teams will go home today. And if they don't have their full lineup, which, you know, their Peak is going to be here tomorrow. xPeke will be here tomorrow. He will be able to make it. So hopefully they can make it to that situation and not really have to lose out in this first round here. I don't think that's going to happen, though, being one of the stronger teams in this tournament. However, Pacific about to give them a run for their money, and we're going to have to see how this match goes.
I definitely hope so. So I am actually shoutcasting as Freak. I hope that's not too confusing, but so we are about to go into this game right now. Yeah, I'm giving the go right now. We should start the game any second, and we can see We Will Fail on xPeke's account. So that's how we solved it. You will see xPeke in the game. It's not actually xPeke. It's going to be We Will Fail. Let's see who started the game. Mellisan, please hit start.
And we will be off and running for your picks and bans. Fnatic versus Pacific here for your second game of the day here at DreamHack Summer 2011, the $100,000 Championship Season 1 tournament brought to you by League of Legends.
I'm excited.
Our HD stream by PaySafeCard. Very nice. I hope it looks fantastic to the 90,000 viewers we have going on. We'll have to see if we can get that up to the 6-digit number as we get this game going. It's going to be a very good game, and we'll have to see 14 seconds for that pick ban. Nocturne coming out,
yes,
shutting down the jungler.
Well, Nocturne is an interesting ban. They may not know about the European metagame, but Nocturne is a kind of B-tier jungler for us. If you have nothing else, sure, you'll jungle Nocturne, but you want to have your tank in the jungle because the dominant meta is still a double AP meta in Europe, and there is no room for a tank anywhere else. Oh, there is a Jarvan ban. That's actually interesting because I would have expected them to run a Jarvan. Their player Cyanide jungles a mean Jarvan. So it's interesting why they banned him right away, but they will probably have a reason for that. So I definitely expect for the European teams to see a tank in the jungle, just like we saw last game. AAA was running that Amumu in the jungle. It's simply because there is no room in any of the lanes for a tank at the moment. There needs to be an AP top, and there needs to be an AP mid, and a support and AD bottom lane.
Yeah, and something we've talked about before is the ability to just have that level over somebody, the health, the regen, the experience, what the damage you're about to do. And people don't really take that into consideration when one level can make a huge difference to the control of your lane. And even with the junglers, lane presence is a very big thing. You don't really have to get that gank every time you go in lane. Making yourself present in the lane pushes that back for the opposing team. And you have a lot more room to farm, you have a lot more room to get your last hits. And we see Vladimir coming in for Pacific and Vayne for Fnatic. Two very big picks. Vladimir self-sustaining, Vayne a lot of damage, that true damage coming through, and Soraka, also being picked in the hands of Pacific.
It's a ban actually. We're still in the ban phase.
The ban, yes.
So a Soraka ban and the final ban Rumble. Also very interesting because EU teams are really strong on Rumble, and I would have expected them to run Rumble. And oh wow, there is a Twisted Fate right away. So they're gonna go for the we have a disconnect, unfortunately. Let's see what's going on there and remake the game as soon as possible. You need to speak to one of the ESL guys. Let's see if one of the admins can... Okay, so we're going to have a reset in just one moment. We're going to tell you what's going on. It's a bit unfortunate when this happens. Now, you showed your cards already. You showed your hand.
For sure.
But we didn't see more than one pick yet from Pacific, so it's definitely not too much. Oh, I think we had a problem with it. The teams were on the wrong sides. It's very important actually what side you're on because I think it's because of both first pick and what side you're going to be on the map.
Yes, very much so.
And because of the seeding, Fnatic deserved first pick and first ban, and the blue side, I believe it is. And we did not pay attention to that. That was our bad there. Very sorry about that. We're going to have to remake right now. And I don't think that we need to pick and ban the same champions. No, I don't think we need to do that. Okay, so as soon as xPeke comes into the game again, xPeke impersonated by WeWillFailer. As soon as we have that impersonator back in the game, we can get started again. Okay, there we go. So please hit the start button right away. There we go. Yes. I am not used to German keyboard. I'm a disgrace to my homeland. Yes. Okay. Let's see if the bans picks are going to look any different now. They probably are because you are going to leave completely other champions open if you have first pick. If you know that you have that first pick, you can just leave a champion open, force the enemy to ban that champion if they don't want to see it, or just take it. You know. There's the Jarvan ban again, though. I would have expected them to leave Jarvan, or maybe they're going to leave Rumble open now. We'll see.
Maybe, possibly. Maybe they're going for the same bans. I don't think they will be. It's, you know, a new deck of cards here. Like you said, they did show their hand, but then again, they do have their counter picks and their picks ready. So we're going to have to see what happens in this one. Looks like they all are going same, but we'll have to see here.
I don't think that we gave a ruling out that we have to pick the same champions and ban the same champions.
Right
no,
on.
they can pick and ban what you want. Actually, let me tell that to the Pacific player. Pick and ban what you want. There we go. Switching this to English keyboard. There we go. Yes. Yeah, they are picking and banning the same again. I hope that there's not been a misunderstanding, but we're not going to remake now. These are the picks and bans that they have.
It looks like they will go through the list as well.
They are going for the same ones again, which is, you know, fine. Fine by me. All right, so we see that Vayne banning again. That Vayne, oh god, so painful in the hands of Westrise, I believe it was. That was an amazing Vayne. And
Westrice is not somebody you want to give a carry to.
No, no. And people say that, yeah, you can get Westrice out of the game by banning Akali, and no, you can't. I'm sorry, he can play other champions really well too. And we see the exact same picks events.
All right, there's the Alistar.
I'm happy.
Yeah,
I'm happy
I hear
right
you
there,
smile
man.
on your face.
This is going to be Shushei's infamous AP Alistar. Oh.
You can see Alistar just staring them down. They now have 50 seconds left for their 2 picks. We're going to see what they go for this one. They did have TF coming out on that first one. We'll have to see if they use him for there. There he is again, but it looks like the picks and bans have gone the same. He was switching for somebody last time. I believe he had Clarity and or Clarity and Fortify, but I don't think that was really what he's running. Maybe just picking for himself. Would have switched for somebody, because that's Clarity and Fortify. Isn't something he really run altogether anyways. And Mumu possibly in the jungle for Vi, and we'll have to see what he does with
Remember that they can switch their summoners later on still. They can switch their summoners up until the last moment, so that doesn't really say anything. I don't think he would have run Clarity. I like that, actually. Many people are going to say, why wouldn't you run 2 defensive summoners on a carry? But I really like the Clairvoyance. People underestimate how important Clairvoyance is. It's the same with wards, you know? Knowing what's going on the map is just power. It's extremely powerful. So it looks like they don't want to leave Janna open. That's why Lamia is picking. Janna is obviously going to switch that Janna with Mellisan, who's their support player. But yeah, they believe that Janna is a very valuable support to pick up, and they don't leave her open for Pacific.
Yeah, she has a great utility. Really doesn't need anything early game to help herself out. She has the shield, she has the slow, she can get away from most things. She can pop you up and stun you in the area. And we do have a Karthus coming out in the hands of Wormy, very nice, and the teleport as well. Not something you really want. A good amount of global so far, and a huge support coming out of the hands of Taric. And we are going to see that it possibly was a switch for the Clarity, or Clarity and Fortify that could have gone to Taric later in the game, because he will keep that.
Interesting. Clarity. I don't know. I'm really, really careful about saying, oh god, you can't do that.
Well, they're very heavily mana-based at this point in time.
Right, they are. But still, even if you have a very heavily mana-based team in Europe or North America, I don't think you'd ever see Clarity picked in a tournament game. It's just not something you see. Okay, and then we have the last 2 picks. We have Corki, going to be played by Lamia, and We Will Failure currently has the Nunu pick. He's probably going to switch that around with Cyanide, and he's going to play the Malzahar. Then Malzahar, Alistar, I like that for the APs. That is going to be really strong. Twisted Fate, I expect they are going to build him AP. That is just the only build that really makes sense at the moment. If you build an AD or a proc Twisted Fate, where you buy items that do damage or effects on procs, you have to be too close. You have to be in medium range for the entire fight, and that just spells doom for Twisted Fate. So he's going to go for that AP Twisted Fate, probably with a very quick Lich Bane to be able to push down turrets in split pushes very, very quickly. And we see the last pick now for Team Pacific. Let's see, they need their AD. What? All right.
We did see a lot of very good Garen play in the US regionals. It was a character to bring about a lot of wins for the teams. I can't remember exactly who it was at this point in time. There were just so many amazing games going on. But he was chosen, and we see the switches going around now. Amumu does grab the jungle. TF will go, and he switches with one. It looks like Ido grabs that, as Vi was the one to grab Garen and Gibbo at the top. So a lot of switching going on the right side. They wanted to get who they wanted and made sure that it was locked down in the way they wanted it.
So there's not going to be Clairvoyance on Twisted Fate. Okay, so Flash Ghost on Twisted Fate. So I think they may actually play him as an AD range. I mean, they need an AD in a team,
for sure.
Right?
Yeah, they're going to have those 2 ADs and a very heavy AP team after that. So it'll be a very nice switch up from what they had before.
This is actually really a clash of metas. This is a completely different meta. We have a very strong dual AP here. I would be surprised if Shushei builds anything other than full-out AP on Alistar. And he's going to build a Lich Bane rather soon as well, because if you get in with a full combo and then you can add a Lich Bane hit, because you're close range anyway after your headbutt, you get that Lich Bane hit in, and it's just so much burst. People just don't expect a flying cow.
They're one of the highest base damages in the game, to do a lot of damage anyways, so he's going to be able to get that slap in after he does his attacks, but really leave it up to Lamia's to do so much shredding of armor, and then it's just going to be Malzahar on the outside throwing down the percentage damage with about Mellisan coming out with the healing when necessary in the team fight to support the team. And Nunu with Absolute Zero as well. They have so many AoEs right now. If you could just pulverize in that Absolute Zero, it's really going to cause trouble for the other team. However, they do have a good amount of slows, stuns, and whatnot. They have the Dazzle, they have Bandage Toss, and they have Yellow Card. So they do have a lot of CC on both teams, and we're going to see that there's going to be a lot of just, stops in the fight for that quick second where nobody's going to really know where to focus. A lot of people are just going to be stunned, and we're going to have to see how they utilize that. Everybody is running Flash on both teams. It's something you really need to run. You can get very low in a fight and almost use that as bait and flash right behind your team, and the opposing team is forced to walk into that wall because you're going to want that kill, especially if it's somebody who's being fed and they have a lot of money behind them.
And we're going into the game right now. I'm a little bit concerned about Nunu here. There's so many champions that can cancel his ultimate. It's going to be really bad for him. There's a stun on Tarek, there's a silence on Garen, there's a stun on Amumu, and there's a stun on Twisted Fate. So 4 of the 5 enemy champions can cancel that Absolute Zero. And if the Absolute Zero doesn't channel for a long time, it doesn't do a lot of damage. And what's more important in these high-level games is that the area of effect slow just goes away once that spell is cancelled. And in these high-level games, you really just want the Nunu there to channel Absolute Zero so that the enemy cannot get close to your carries. We'll have to see how it goes. Now, I'm very interested. We're going to be looking for that level 1 fight here. We're going to see if they look for it. And we are ready and going into the game right now. And we are in game here. We're following Team Fnatic right now as they are walking toward the middle. I would pick a Team 1 fight. I would pick a level 1 fight. What do you think, Rivington? With this sort of lineup, would you pick a level 1 fight?
I think both teams have a really good chance of coming into this fight strong. Early game, not a lot of stuns on the side of Fnatic at this point in time, but they are definitely in favor of Pacific at this. And Garen actually not in the push there. There he goes, getting into the bush. You can see the pings bottom from Pacific. They're going to hide right next to that top dragon bush and kind of hang out right now. Gibbo going down bottom to make sure nobody was straggling and coming out. And a lot of wards bought by both teams. We did see Gibbo buy a ward, also Nunu with a ward in his hands. And
look at that, there's already a ward at the ramp leading up to blue for Pacific. So they are very wary of Team Fnatic stealing their buffs early game. And Fnatic are being very defensive like you normally are in these games. xPeke is going home already. Obviously he was spamming his skills to get that charge for the minion. But as it turns out, it wasn't necessary because Team Pacific did not pick a level 1 fight. And it looks like the teams are setting up very defensively right now. Both are just going to give their blue buffs to their junglers and then continue laning normally.
Yeah, no invasions here. Very safe play by both teams. They don't want to leave anything to chance at this point in time. You can see a few pings from Pacific in the top near their red. They think maybe they're there. We haven't seen anything down here. Clairvoyance going up from the hands of Pacific. I cannot find where that is at this point in time, but they're really about to use everything they have in this tournament to their favor. It looks like they're going to use 3 to get blue. We can see the Fog of War going up there for shared, and we will see what's going on. It's going to be, I believe, Alistair Twisted Fate made a good amount of damage on that first headbutt. Wow.
Yeah, that just
really
just
piercing through. It does set the tone, and you're right that it's going to be that AP Alistair, the Doran's ring to start. And these guys are off and running. Looks like Nunu almost on his blue buff as well as Amumu. So the junglers are also kind of neck and neck at this point in time. Looks like we're going to have a Corki and Janna to babysit on bottom with Garen and Tarek. Tarek, a way better babysitter with that consistent heal. Janna can kind of just assist the escape of the Valkyrie of Lamia's at this point in time. And it's going to be AP versus AP straight up top. Malzahar versus Karthus.
It's going to be a very, very tough lane for Karthus. I mean, if he can keep Malzahar away, okay. But if Malzahar gets in and gets enough E's landed, it'll be very, very painful for Karthus.
Looks like Nunu already doing a little jungle invasion here, stealing the golems up top. Amumu will be going for this Wraith, so he will not see that. Very nice job. Amumu easy, able to self-sustain there with his consume. You can just take a few minions and pulverize. Very nice job by Shushei in mid. A lot of damage going down in the hands of Twisted Fate, and it looks like he will be going for boots in 3 pots. So that's 600 HP. Oh. He's able to stay in lane with, and that's really one of the things you want to be able to have is lane sustain. You want to be able to stay in lane as long as possible, get your last hits, and get the experience. As we said before, absolutely. That level above somebody can really make a difference.
And top lane, Nunu was thinking about a gank here against Karthus, changed his mind. Amumu went to the golems and found his golems missing. Oh, and Nunu, look at that, he's going right back there.
Wow.
Oh, this is bad news for Amumu. Oh, this is bad news.
No.
Yes, can he get a kill now? He has the slowdown on Amumu, and Amumu flashes away. Oh, and he flashes after him. He really wants that first blood. One more hit, two more hits, and that should be first blood and double buffs for Team Fnatic.
A very nice job, and that was the perfect way to do it.
And bottom, wow. Immediately LamiaZealot gets picked up on, both extremely low on the enemy team, but Mellisan does not have the damage offer to do anything. Can Garen actually kill him? Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
And he goes down to minions. Will Tariq also goes down to minions. Amazing. Oh, and mid, Alistair catching Twisted Fate. Is that enough damage with the Ignite? Probably not. No, Ignite obviously scales with levels. At level 4, it doesn't do that much damage yet. But that is a Twisted Fate that has been taken out of that laning phase. Wow, a lot of quick action here very early in the game.
Amazing job, and you know, to point out Nunu waiting for the buff to be taken and then stealing the buff, refreshing his blue, refreshing that, or getting a red, I should say, and he's able to go back into his jungle. Great job down bottom. I would have thought, you know, that Mellisan was going to come up with a kill on the Garen, but he chose to run around instead of attack. A very good rule of thumb to go for is to do as much damage you can do as if you know you're going down. If you know you're not going to make it back to the turret, turn around and fight as much as you can. That's going to be money in your pocket if you're able to get it. Shushei taking a little bit of damage there we didn't need to. Not going to hurt him too much. He does have that heal and a full amount of mana. Great gameplay so far by Pacific as well as Fnatic, both getting kills. It is 2-2, and we are only 5 minutes into the match at this point.
I'm liking that. That makes for good watching. Shushei obviously running his AP rune page, so he's running a lot of flat AP. He has that Doran's ring, and on top of that, he is at 33 AP right now. So even right away, his heals heal for quite a lot. Oh, and Amumu setting up there. Oh, can Amumu get the bandage toss in against Shushei? Shushei just going for the damage because Cyanide is here as well, and Pacific now have to possibly draw back. Yeah, Shushei can heal for himself enough, and he is safe. That was interesting. Twisted Fate baiting Shushei there while Shushei was baiting him as well, but nothing happening there.
That was a very good fight right there. A lot of damage actually going on to Shushei. Amumu was able to do quite a bit as he heads up top now. We'll see what he can do here. Looks like he's not going to go for a real aggressive gank on this one. He may just come out for lane presence.
Bottom lane, wow, so much damage for the Janna, and he takes Janna down. Wow. Oh, a flash in from Corki. Will Corki be able to get damage in? Yes, he has the damage output for Garen. Garen goes down as well.
Very nice job there. Corki, knowing his limits, did the Valkyrie out and not a Valkyrie in, saving that escape for himself. Another headbutt and some good damage coming out of the hands of Shushei right now. They're about same HP in mid as Amumu begins to head back towards top. No, going back into his jungle, just making sure nobody's invading. That Nunu really wants it, and actually looks like he will try to do something here. The buffs are still on. He does have a little bit of time left on his red buff here. No, he's just placing the ward, and he will get there before Amumu sees him, and they're going to be out of that one. And it looks like we'll have a gank top. He is going bottom. He does see Amumu when he comes in with the tantrum. He will get out of that one, though, as the pool goes down. Nunu comes in to help and assist in the fight. Alistair still pushing in middle strong. Each of these players are just kind of poking each other back and forth at this point.
Tariq going very low
taking
bottom,
a lot of damage there.
Yeah, he gets out of it. He gets out of it. Very, very aggressive game so far. You are a little bit ahead of me again, Rivington. So for the watchers at home, if it looks like Rivington can see the future, he can actually see the future. But if he calls the skills a little bit before you see them, that is why. Also, he is obviously a 7th and a prophet, and he just knows what's going to happen.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah.
So we're going to see Garen push back to his tower in middle. Looks like Twisted Fate is also forced to hug his tower right now. These guys aren't going to be really able to get any last hits. As we look at the bottom, Tariq obviously not supposed to get too many last hits in the beginning of the game. Really comes up with the assists late game. He does have 4. 42 in the hands of Karthus up top, and we're going to see Malzahar's at 43, so doing a very nice job. Karthus has gone for the Magi's. Wow. No real kills for him yet, and we're going to have to see how that plays into his favor. That's a quick buy, and that's a quick 1,200 gold you may not want to waste. It looks like they may be going for the invade here on the blue. The pings are going down. You just wanted that clairvoyance. Yeah. No invade coming down here, and he just wanted to be safe and cautious in the play.
That Major Soul Stealer, that is a statement of intent. That says, I am going to be super aggressive. I'm going to look for those team fights, because that item is not worth its weight in gold at all if you don't get any kills in. So it's a bit of a wasted buy unless you actually go and kill people really quickly. So that Karthus needs to be aggressive, or he just wasted a lot of gold.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a blue donation coming out to the hands of Alistar rather, and he is going to be able to head back to mid. That easily helps him. Actually, he's going back to purchase, has a little gold under his belt. We'll have to see what the other teams are doing. Tarek setting down some ward, puts on a vision, and he will be able to stop the ward coming out of the hands of Pacific there on Dragon. So they do not have vision on that area. They're not going to quickly go for it. They could, though, however, with being so spread out. Alistar is not on the map. They don't know where he is, and that's the reason they're really just going to set off on this one. There's a lot of time on the ward, and they'll be able to play with that in a little bit. Looks like Garen and Tarek doing a good push here. Can he get a dazzle down and a very nice stun coming out of the hands of Mellisan there? Able to pop him up.
And that is exactly why you have Janna on the bot lane. Janna is just an amazing babysitter. She has the shield to reduce the damage you take. She has the tornado for a knock-up, and from level 6 on she also has an ultimate to push them back. So if you have a good Janna, and Mellisan is an amazing Janna, then you are just safe as an AD, and that's a good feeling. You can just farm and you know there's somebody who will take care of you.
It is really good, and they can see us. We have Pacific putting down some wards there, and they are in the bush kind of pinging it. You know, Malzahar is right here. He kind of may have seen that ward be placed. He may have just seen somebody placing that ward. And Karthus backing up. He does not know what's going on below him at this point in time. And I don't know why he's backing up. Probably playing a little passive. He's just letting xPeke push up, and this is actually their substitute right now. So he's playing very aggressive. As I said before, rule of thumb, don't pass the river alone. And right now, without any vision, this could really cost him at this point in time. Amumu has double buff as he comes up to that top lane. Still just farming his gold out, and looks like outright they're going to go straight for him, breaking the line of sight as he goes in the bush. A very nice dodge as he turns around, but Twisted Fate coming with the ultimate in. It's going to be a 3v1 situation, a blue card instead of a yellow. Slight mistake will allow xPeke to get away, and they will be unfortunate and unlucky on that one. As Alistar, however, coming up top, kind of wants to join this fight up a little bit, and they're going to switch up lanes here as Dragon is being taken down low in a 4v1 on Dragon. Nice job coming out of the hands of Fnatic, getting that global gold, and it looks like Alistar will just kind of hang out here. Doesn't want to take too much damage. He does have a lot still around him, playing very aggressive right now in the hands of Fnatic, and at 3-3 with 10 minutes and no turrets, it's only 13k to 11k, so this game is still very close in anybody's match.
Absolutely. Yeah, we were seeing Alistar trying for something there, but standing on the wall in the bushes. And as I just switch through the map view, look, this is the map view that Team Pacific has right now. Do you see how many wards they have all over the place? And compare that to what Fnatic currently see. They also have those wards. They have the ward in here, they have the ward in this river, but down below is much, much less that Fnatic can actually see. Going back to the combined Fog of War view here. Bottom lane, Garen is obviously not a good farmer. He is at 52 anyway. He seems to be building a very aggressive Garen. He's building that Brutalizer first. That means he's probably going to build a damage Garen, while I'm really much more used to just a tanky Garen.
Yeah, that is something that they don't have too much of. I mean, they do have a Amumu to kind of take that brute force of the fight and allow Garen to spin around in Amumu's ult and do a lot of damage. We're going to see Alistar totally pushing down on Karthus right now. Does he have enough to get a headbutt down? He can still get to it and stop it if it ends at the headbutt. And there it is. He is able to get a Shushei taking down Karthus right behind the turret. A very nice job, but Amumu coming in, getting the tantrum on, and he does have his pull down. The heal of Alistar could keep him alive here, pulverized up, and he jumps to the other side, but the ult from Malzahar stays on as TF joins the fight, and we'll have to see what he can do. A good silence coming out of the hands of xPeke right there, the substitute for them, and he was able to shut down Twisted Fate and end any more of that fight that was about to happen. A very nice job as Alistar. Shushei, as you said, with that AP, just playing very aggressive, pushing past all the turrets and knowing the map awareness of where Pacific was, so he could get that kill, get assistance from Amumu, and get out of there.
That was amazing.
Or Malzahar, rather.
He is really, really aggressive there. Unfortunately, he made a mistake there, and whenever I play with an Alistar, they always make that mistake. You put down the perfect pool, you ult someone in that pool as Malzahar, and then
bump him out.
Alistar comes and just bumps him out. No, you're not going to kill that guy. I'm going to protect him. Just like Double Lift, who was very friendly last game and protected, I think it was the Soraka from Team AAA there.
That's all right. Everybody loves a good troll, though.
Yes.
Looks like we have 3 heading down towards bottom. Corki and Janna quite pushed out on this one. We'll have to see what they can do with this. Nunu actually quite far in the jungle as well. And Amumu going around. The Oracle's bought quite early again, 13 minutes into the game. They will have that ward control down in their favor now. I don't see Oracle's on the Fnatic side at this point in time, but they do have that CV and they're using it effectively.
Yeah, very good there. Nunu was placing wards in the enemy jungle there. It's a very, very aggressive warding here. Nunu is a jungler who needs to counter jungle. He is not the fastest jungler if he just stays in his own... I mean, he is a fast jungler, but if he just stays in his own jungle and only takes his own jungle creep, he's not going to have as much of an effect on the game as he does when he actually goes to the enemy jungle, because no one can do it like Nunu. No one counter jungles like Nunu, and it's just... It's brutal to have it. Nunu just steal all your creeps or force you to fight him in the jungle, and you don't want to fight Nunu in the jungle. He just consumes something. He heals 500, 600 HP and keeps fighting you. It's not a fight you can win as a jungler.
Shushei playing very aggressive up top, able to take half health. Looks like MeliSan is heading into the blue. Will he be able to get it here with the silence? And he goes for the ult on Amumu. Dabe taking a lot of damage. He flashes over the wall. Will they be able to catch him? The dazzle from Taric. Gibbo stopping peak, and it will be the R from Karthus pressing his ultimate, and he will be able to do a lot of damage there to a few of the members. Looks like they will be able to get their health back, though, as they come into this matchup. Gibbo still looking to get out of that one. Dabe very hurt in that situation. And Alistar again pushing into the face of Wormy. Will Shushei be able to get a second kill onto Karthus? And he does. The ultimate already used, and it looks like he's just going to try to lay waste as Alistar runs away. Corki almost getting hit by Garen. If he can get that E off, he will be able to silence and possibly do some more damage here. Going for the Gatling to tear apart the armor of Garen, but he was not able to get enough damage down or really do anything that would help. Taric doesn't really have to worry about the heal. Probably give one to Garen, and then they'll be back into this lane without any problems. Looks like the top turret has finally fallen, and that'll be the first of the match. 15 minutes into the game. Well played so far by Fnatic. It is 5-3. They're only up by 2 kills, and the gold is still quite close. And we'll have to see how this plays out, as really only one dragon control has been thrown in the way of Fnatic.
Well, you say the goal is quite close, but I see a 3.5k advantage here in favor of Fnatic, and 1 tower versus 0 as well. I would say currently it's up to Pacific to make a move. Pacific needs to win a team fight.
True.
They need to do something here because Fnatic is only going to get stronger. Their strongest AP carry is farming up basically unstopped. He has the highest farm in the game currently with 104 CS on Alistar. He is 2-0-0. He has a lot of gold. And look at that. Even though he is an AP carry, he's currently carrying 5 wards with him. 5 wards. That's exactly what we talked about before the game. This mentality of the support buys ward. That's something that's really being phased out currently. Everyone buys wards because it just enables the support to do other things as well. And why wouldn't you buy wards? I mean, it's just, like we said, it's an investment. It pays off. You get the money back and then some.
Looks like they have 3 down bottom. Could be trying something here if they are able to get the push out. I don't see too much happening at this point in time. Garen will be forced to back. They are going to get this turret. That'll be a second one in their favor. They definitely have enough minions to do this. And Amumu and Taric are actually forced to do nothing about that. Hopefully, they're just hoping minions come back and they're able to still grab XP. Because right now, the level situation for these guys, it looks like it is 12, 9, 10, 6, and 11. Actually, Mellisan, level 6 right now. Not really somebody that needs to be high level, but can be focused down in a matter of seconds. And that's another person out of the fight. Her utility, or the ultimate, utility on her ultimate, I should say, is really what these guys need, since they have a Taric with a regular heal as well on the side of Pacific. So they're going to need her late game. Looks like they will all go for this mid turret. Mumu coming in with the bandage grab just on the minion of Malzahar of xPeke, and they're going to clear this minion wave, poke it a few more times. I believe it's going to be Corki to get this one down if he can just leave that line of defense in front of him. Nunu, Malzahar, and Alistar, if they're there. There's Corki just putting some shots onto it. Actually not doing too much damage. It looks like they may initiate the bandage toss, missing. So much damage going down. Malzahar throws down the ultimate in the pool. Absolute Zero going down in the area of the turret as it falls. A full proc on Absolute Zero, and players are falling left and right. The Karthus ultimate to come up. One lives. Fnatic Lamia's taking down one. Lamia's taking down Wormy. Gibbo falls to the hands of Shushei in that battle, and it looks like they're still focusing on TF. Will he be able to get away from this one? And he does. The yellow card coming up, and the Ghost, no pulverizer headbutt can take him down on that one, and he gets away clean. 4 down to the 3 on the side of Fnatic, and that was actually a good fight for both teams, and really the money advantage huge now at 24,000 to 19,000. It really just spreading out there at 5K.
Ouch, that fight just hurt. And I just checked, Twisted Fate is actually building AP, so his cards do hurt, but they just don't have that consistent damage output, you know? That's what a ranged carry does. If a ranged carry is in a fight and you manage to protect your ranged carry, there's just a sustained amount of DPS that your team can put out. They don't have that. They have Garen, and Garen needs to go very close, and he'll just die. You know, he has a Hex Drinker right now, and he did build Mercury Treads, and that's nice and defensive, but he's just still gonna be focused down and die. Fnatic now setting up for Dragon, and I don't think there is anything that Pacific can do. Pacific are trying to come in here for a team fight.
This is going to be difficult for them. A good headbutt and pulverizes. He gets right in there. The pool already going down as well. The ultimate coming out of the hands of Amumu. A lot of damage going down to Garen, and he is forced out of the fight. Karth is forced to flash away, possibly with his ultimate up. I believe it is not up, actually. He's waiting a few more seconds on that. The clairvoyance going down, so they have vision, and they will be able to pick up another kill. Amumu goes down, so the tank is out of the question right now, and they will. He just actually got back up. That definitely hurts. Not something you want to happen. That means you're losing a ton of experience you could be soaking up in lane. TF is forced to go top of the map. Can't really do much as he has lost a turret, and you can't really cross that river. A good rule of thumb, as I said before, you need some partner, power in numbers, the buddy system if you're crossing that river. If you're going to jungle invade, you have to be very careful. At this point in time, your team is pretty much down in the fight. 6,000 gold between these two teams. The turrets are 3-0 right now. And there's just a lot of control going on by Fnatic on this entire map.
And we can see how Fnatic decided to counter the Twisted Fate pick from Pacific. They simply run teleport on their top, which means that if Twisted Fate tries to split push, well, I'll just teleport there and stop him. And that's what he just did. And Twisted Fate really needs more farm. He has his skins, his Rage Blades now, and they're nice and all, but he needs more farm to make a real impact in a fight, and they just need that sustained damage output, and that's just not coming. We have 151 attack damage on Garen, so that's not bad. But like I said, you saw that in the last fight. Garen just got focused down in absolutely no time. And Fnatic may now be setting up for Baron. Was actually pinged a couple of times, and there don't seem to be any wards from either team near Baron. There was a clairvoyance right now from Fnatic, and I think that was a preparatory clairvoyance, as they are now actually setting up for Baron.
Yeah, indeed, Jano's heading up there, checking to see if there are any Oracle, or if there are any wards with her Oracles. She finds one in the bush there in mid. They're going to go ahead and clear that one out. Alistar roaming pretty hard in the jungle, sets a ward down right next to the ward of Pacific at this point in time. 4 in mid for Pacific, trying to hold on to this tower. Taric will back, possibly needs to get a buy under his belt here, but he sees this huge horde of Fnatic coming down mid. Actually, no, they'll start to head into the jungle, and now controlling the jungle of Pacific. Like I said, playing with the mentality of your opponent, you're able to just take their buffs. They can't farm because their turrets are down. They have to wait for all the minions to be pushed, and now their jungle is being taken away from them as well.
Twisted Fate is actually split pushing bot at the moment, and he did take a turret down, so that's the first turret kill for Pacific right there. But at the same time, they're losing top. Well, are they losing top? No. Yeah, no, they're not pushing it right now. Corki can obviously, sorry, I missed that. Corki can obviously 1v1 TF, and there's a fight breaking out at top. Amumu way out of position. There's nothing he can do with his ulti there right now. Karth has died right away in the bushes, also out of position. And Shushei is still going, even though his team is in the forest. He's like, I don't care. I can take you. I have my ulti. You're not going to do any damage to me.
You know, that's a great ability of knowing what the constraints of your character are. Shushei knows he has his ultimate. He can go in there and do a few more things. If Jana was able to get in and get a slowdown and somebody, possibly one more person, they were definitely able to get one more kill there. But he pulled out, knowing his boundaries. A very nice play there, just going back into mid, getting blood boil off of Cyanide, and he is able to just heal himself up with that quick E, get back into the match, and it looks like they will start to gather together in mid here, push on this turret, and we're going to have to see what they can do. Wormy is there to lay waste right behind. That's going to do a good amount of damage and clear these minions out, and it looks like they will head back into the jungle and start clearing out their lanes and start getting everything pushed so they can focus those team fights in mid.
Unfortunately, we currently don't have a technology in our spectator mode to show stacks on stacking items, but I cannot imagine that Karthus has a lot of stacks on that Soul Steel. That is actually an item I would consider selling at this point. I mean, I heard arguments to the contrary, where they say if you're going to come back from this, you're only going to come back if you win a team fight, and then it's good to have the Soul Stealer, but he needs that gold, he needs to build some AP. Currently, he just has the needlessly large rod and an amplifying tome, and that's 151 AP Karthus up against the 337 AP Cow. That is just, yeah. Fnatic are now taking Baron. There's nothing that... oh, they're not taking Baron. Oh, actually, they're caught Twisted Fate trying to protect Baron. Wow, Twisted Fate is out of that combat. Look at that. Bursting him down, even though he was running to 500 out of 1,500 HP. And that should actually be a safe Baron for Fnatic right now. They're choosing not to go for it. They're trying to catch someone, and they're catching Amumu, who flashes out. Will he get away? There's a slow wall from Karthus, but Amumu is actually going in, triggering his ultimate, but there's just not enough damage output there. Then Twisted Fate is coming back in with his ultimate from behind. He is getting forced down. Corki is going to take him down in no time. Fnatic xPeke goes down. Karthus goes down to a Ice Blast. Corki actually in the AoE there from Karthus also goes down. Shushei has enough health and cleans up the team, and that's an ace against Pacific from Fnatic. There's 3 surviving members of Fnatic. They could probably do a 3-man Baron, or they could take the advantage and just push a couple of lanes. Amazing team fight there, a little bit messy. They got drawn apart too much, and I questioned somewhat if that Amumu should have gone in before his team was in a position to do damage. But yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those things. They were caught very off guard. TF was just backing because he took a lot of damage as he was the first one there at Baron. And then they still considered the fight as they all had to get back in there. Garen was not able to do his spin to win inside that Amumu ult, so it didn't really give him that much damage. You could see Garen at the end of the fight, before he went down, tried to bring him back into the wake of Karthus. Just wasn't enough damage to take him down. And they did a very good job of focusing in that fight. We're able to take down 4 of the members of the team. And Fnatic really now has this match in their favor. A little bit of a power play to them as 36,000 to 27,000 gold, 3-1 on the turret, so that's global gold in their hand as well. And a lot of wards on the side of Fnatic. If you see that scoreboard right there, at least 2, 4, 6, there's 9, 10 wards to be placed, with 3 to be placed on the side of Pacific. So the map, once their wards go, they're going to have perfect vision of this map. They're going to be able to set them down all the time. Janna again using her oracles to check for wards on Baron. Everybody's just pretty much trying to soak up XP as they can, but everybody's only on 2 minions, so they're not getting that much experience from these minions right now. The lanes are actually pretty pushed for them, so they're not able to do much about it. Twisted Fate is on bottom, and hopefully he can get to his team, because the jungle invasion right now from Fnatic is quite hard, and they're just right inside every bush that they can be on Pacific. And you can see Pacific wants to go in their jungle, they just know they cannot. They only have a few wards, one over by right behind Baron, and more so in their right jungle, guarding blue and guarding that lane towards their second defensive turret. So not too much of a ward placement that's really giving them any assistance right now. And we do have 5 members of Fnatic in mid to try and push this turret. Looks like they will be able to push it after this minion wave right near mid is able to come up past the river and give them some control on this. Like, Corki should be doing a good amount of damage. TF on bottom, however, is going to start rushing through. He only has a few minions down there, about 5, 2 that can take 2 full hits from a turret, so we won't be able to get much damage down here. Does he have the attack speed he needs? And he does have that Rage Blade, so he is going to start stacking attack speed, but it doesn't look like he has enough just yet. His team seems to be calling him back. Malzahar has ported back bottom, and he is forcing TF off of that. Looks like the ultimate from TF may bring him back to base. Is he able to stun him? He does not get the ult down. Malzahar could have stopped TF in his tracks, and it looks like he does get back home in time. TF going up top, and it looks like he will port from that position, just going to a random spot to get out of that. The mid tower did go down, in fact, and it looks like they may be able to find Taric here. This is where the word control comes into play. Do they have enough time if Janna can get that right-click attack down and get that slow buff onto him? And she does not. And we're going to see that, you know, Pacific is just forced to be in their base right now.
Yeah, the Twisted Fate doing what he's supposed to do with the split push. I think that We Will Fail could have probably teleported earlier. They really didn't need him in mid, but they did want to have the 5 people there in case Pacific wanted to go for the team fight. They just wanted it to be as decisive as possible. So they gave 1 tower up to Twisted Fate, who is now just basically pushing bot 24/7. He's just doing nothing else. He's building his Lich Bane there, obviously, and the idea behind the Lich Bane is just every time you use a spell, you're going to have more attack damage on your next attack. You see that little red glowing thing? That's the Sheen currently. Oh, and he will get caught here. Yes, that's the slow from Janna. He doesn't have his ultimate up, and that is one dead Twisted Fate right there.
Yeah, that's really not what you need to happen right now. They're obviously not up in this game, so they cannot lose those people 1 and 1 and 1. You're losing experience in lane, you're losing experience from team fights, you're not gaining the gold that you need to be gaining right now. And it's really just overall snowballing into effect. It's affecting the entire team instead of just one person. 4 members alive now, like I said, forced to stay in their base. That's not where you're going to gain the XP. And it's a quick tower pushes coming out of the hands of Fnatic. The global gold still ramping up in their favor. Looks like all of their ultimates are up for the next fight. So they are very confident about this push right here, not too worried about much. Going back into the jungle, looks like they will be going for a quick dragon, more gold into their favor, and they're just making sure they're going to get this one handily.
They're playing it safe, I appreciate that. I mean, they could go for inhibited tower dives right now, and they could probably still win the game that way, but there's $100,000 on the line here, and you really do want to play it safe, and I think Fnatic are doing the right thing here.
We'll see Taric using his clairvoyance. We're going to head over to Dragon, now head over to Baron. You can see it right there on Baron, and nobody is there, so it looks like TF is going to start heading up that way, and maybe to set down a ward. Does he have one? Yes, he does, and there it is. He's going to set it in the tri-bush that goes towards top turret. Looks like Alistar going around to just roam, do what Alistar does, and roam around the map. Tarek finally with an Oracle's on their team as well, so they're going to be able to go and clear the wards out of the jungle. A few more wards bought by Tarek. He has 3, but there's still an amount of 10 wards. So wards were placed, and they still have 10 wards on Fnatic's side. Ridiculous, that investment that we were talking about before. It is absolutely controlling the game. They were able to go for Tarek on that one. Alistar has been able to push Karthus various times in top lane because of the ward placement and take him out twice in a row. And it's really just been advantageous to them throughout this entire match. 28 minutes into the game with 5 turrets down. That is most of the main turrets on the bottom right side and the middle of the map. The 1 second defensive turret standing in top lane. And it looks like another offensive push to come as Janna heads back towards that area. She finds 1 ward with inside Baron. She's going to be able to take that out, and within a matter of minutes, they may go for Baron after a team fight here.
Yeah, like you said, literally every member of Fnatic had a ward in his inventory at one point, and that's just great. And now Shushei with the Soul Stealer is like, yeah, this is when you buy a Soul Stealer. When you're 805, that's when you buy a Soul Stealer. And yeah, he's doing really, really well for himself.
Oh wow, the damage output coming from Alistar. Flash away from Karthus, caught in the pool and ultimate. Vi going down as Garen, and it looks like Gibo may go down as well. The Karthus ultimate coming out, but so much damage being done, it's really not going to negate that. And they are going to be able to just focus TF here. He is forced to run out of his own base, and he will be able to make it away. Not somebody you want to chase as they're ghosting. The damage is going to be done here in base, and this may be the final push for Fnatic as they come out very strong in this game, only having a matter of 8 deaths on their side to 23. A very nice job getting caught up. Can he get the pulverize down? Almost taking him down from full health instantly. Alistar with a final hit, almost killing TF from 100% health. An amazing game by Fnatic, amazing control, and even with the substitute, they were able to come out very strong on top.
That was a very dominating performance. I really like to see that. And the AP cow, like I said, it's just always fun to watch. And yes, that was a very, very good performance from Fnatic, considering they're not running their full lineup. Weaver didn't do any mistakes that I saw. Maybe he doesn't have as perfect play as xPeke does, but he did really well for himself. And I'm really glad to see that they are actually in fighting shape here, because Epic, I have to say, they looked scary. I'm a little scared. I have to admit, I'm biased. I'm rooting for Europe here. I'm European, I'm biased here, and I really want to see Europe taking it. But Epic, wow, that was a scary performance earlier. And yeah, we see the scores right now, 11-06. That's how Shushei ended up with a Death Cap, a Lich Bane, and a Soul Stealer. That game was just way beyond over at that point.
Yeah, creep score on Shushei, 238, the highest score in the game. You know, Pacific just kind of breaking 150 there on their creep score. Like I said, they were absolutely being pushed back in the match. They weren't able to come out of their lanes, you know, right off the bat. Still, so many wards in the hands of Fnatic right now, able to control the map. Even as the map ended, they had wards, you know. They were ready to continue to fight. They were ready to get another Baron. They were ready to do whatever they needed to do to solidify having zone control over the entire map. They really didn't even focus on the right side of the jungle for Pacific. They were all up on that top side. There was still a turret there, so they were maybe trying to force a fight on that top turret or just force a fight as they went back to Baron. It's something they could have done very easily, and everybody actually played very well for the team. And as you said, 11-0 Shushei, you said coming into the game, the AP Shushei on Alistar is something is just so much fun to watch, and it actually was because it's so much damage. We saw a TF almost getting taken down in the end of the game right there with just a quick spell reel of what Shushei could do.
Oh yeah, and he times that beautifully as well. He does the headbutt against the wall in that case. He can headbutt him away, lands a Lich Bane hit with an auto attack, then does the pulverize, and then lands another Lich Bane hit. It's just a really, really patient play there on a little burst like that. And I believe we may be setting up for an interview in the near future. The teams, they are huddling. You can see in the yellow hoodie, this is Weevil Failer, who is substituting for xPeke right now, and we are going to give over to an interview right now with the teams.
All right, guys, we're here with Pacific, and what happened?
Well, we're just trying out our strategies among Euro and NA. We're seeing how the way they play. So yeah, I think we have more in reserve, so we'll see.
Yeah, it seemed the game was intense at the beginning. Those early level fights were insane. And then it just seemed like things kind of went downhill for you.
Yeah, one factor is we're not familiar with the keyboard, so I guess we need to find one.
It's kind of a weird keyboard?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well, Fnatic, you guys won. How do you feel?
Well, great.
Yeah, you guys did pretty well. Like I said, intense early fight. Yeah. And you guys just managed to stay strong throughout. and a lot of wards all over the place. But what do you think about your next fight?
I think we were up against AA, right? Yeah. Well, we had a pretty bad time.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I should mention that they're playing right after this one, so you don't even really have much of a time for a break or anything. Is that going to be okay?
Yeah, I think, I mean, we played a match now, we're fit. We see we can still do it, even with Peke not being here. So we're pretty confident playing against them, even considering they lost against Epic Gaming, even though we had a, well, pretty bad time against them in the qualifier.
All right. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
And we'll see you in just a little bit.